Suck it, jabroni.
Hey, are you ready? Are you done fucking around?
Hey. Yo.
I do not have peanut butter on my list here.
Oh, my goodness. That's ridiculous.
You're listening to the Balls Out Sports Podcast. Here are your hosts, Ala, Crispy, and Jonas Mount.
All right, everybody, welcome in to Balls Out. Yes, for those of you who aren't aware, this is a sports talk show. We've got a little bit of a conversation between the three of us about, whether or not we should be calling this just Balls Out Sports. Who knows? Who cares at the end of the day? But the reality is we are Balls Out. We have our balls out. We're going to be talking a lot about balls today.
No balls.
Specifically football.
Set this one out.
Before we get into all of that, we are officially recording. We are officially here. We are officially doing episode number 1. Can I get a number 1?
No, I quit.
Can I get another one? I need a number 1.
I gave up already.
Is this
Number
how this is going to
one.
go? There's my number 1 right there. There we go. We got a number 1. All right. I'm not really sure what's going on the other side of the camera. But we got a bunch of fellas here that have been helping us out with the production, getting everything going. Christian is not with us, but we do have Coco here. We got Zach and we got Cal, making sure that everything is running smoothly. I am Jonas Mount. This is Ala. Also, right about here.
Nope, there's a foot stand in the way, but
is
yes.
where we have Crispy. This is the Crispy cam. Crispy is right about right here.
Whoa, stop
Crispy
pointing.
joining us from Greenville, South Carolina.
What's
Right
good?
right
What's
there.
up, Chucktown?
Oh man, this was his home for a long time. Now he's up
Ooh-wee.
upstate. So Crispy joining us from up there. He's got his Braves hat on as he should.
Yo, disgusting.
Ala's got the New York Jets jersey on.
This is disgusting, too.
It is a jersey, however, that does not have
I
a specific individual's number on it.
don't want to get into that.
But
okay?
we will be talking about that soon enough. Whether Ala likes it or not, we are actually going to be talking about the Jets today. Because, of course, Jets played on Monday Night Football as part of Week 1. Week 1 of the NFL season has come and gone. We'll be talking about, some of the games, some of the disappointments. What do we really think about Week 1? All football talk, with the exception, just a minor little blip on the radar where we'll be mentioning some baseball. I know that's something that you probably don't want to talk about either, but we will discuss that today.
Is Ala a Mets fan?
I don't watch baseball.
Ala is a Mets fan.
Understood.
Yeah.
I don't
He
watch.
definitely
I wouldn't
is.
watch it either.
If you were a Mets fan, it would be difficult to watch. I get that, but we'll touch on a little bit of baseball today, just a titch.
I'm not touching on no balls.
Come on.
Hey, now, did you guys ever get the opportunity to watch that Once Upon a Time in Brooklyn,
Whoa.
the ESPN special?
Oh, okay.
I have not seen that.
About to say, I don't want nobody talking about Brooklyn, okay?
I tell you, if you get a chance, it's worth a watch.
Okay.
You might want to be a Mets fan for 15 minutes after.
Okay. So it's a good one. You're telling me it's a good one. Where am I going to find this? ESPN?
Yeah, I believe it's a ESPN, one of those 30 for 30s. It's worth a watch. It's 3 or 4 parts.
Okay.
It's good. It's good.
Have you watched the BS documentary?
No, I did
Bishop
almost
Super Bowl?
all of my homework. I just didn't see that.
Of course, I knew it.
I just didn't
told
see
you
that.
he wasn't going to do it. Okay.
There's a lot going on this past week. I got through all of Hard Knocks.
It was really good.
It was very good. It even got my expectations for the season up, and then it just all went down in flames.
Next topic.
Okay.
Imagine if you're a Jets fan.
I mean, wow. That would be a little bit rough. But we're going to take it easy on my man for the moment.
Next topic.
But we will be talking about that in one of our main topics tonight. I do want to ask this. Now, obviously, you played, your team played on Monday Night Football, right? Crispy, yours and my team, we played, our teams played on Sunday. But I do want to ask this really quickly, and we'll start with my man in Greenville. We'll start with Crispy. How was your Sunday? Like, just in general, how was your Sunday?
Yeah, so my Sunday was chill.
Okay.
We had big plans for, kickoff weekend. Some things happened, and it kind of turned into smaller plans.
Yes.
So, it was a good weekend. Hung out with some fam, got to watch some football, lots of football.
Mm-hmm.
Had 3 or 4 TVs up with some games on. So overall, it was a good weekend. of football.
Okay.
So.
We saw his text message with his whole routine for Sunday.
We did. We really did.
He dumbed it down just
Well,
now.
yeah, I did. Yeah,
7 a.m. Bible study.
Yeah. He didn't get into a lot of detail for all of you here, but it was definitely a breakdown of his Sunday. And I noticed too in the text it also said this was going to be this is what Sundays are going to look like for me moving forward.
Exactly.
Hey, you know how superstitious I am, so
I do.
I'll be up at 7 a.m.
Yep.
I'll be doing my Bible study. I'll go be having breakfast, and I'll go be turning on NFL game day morning at 9 a.m.
At 9 a.m.
So
yeah, I knew it was 9 a.m. I mean, without a doubt, right on top of things. So
7 a.m. Bible study.
Yeah. Hey, respect.
hey, much prayers need to go out to the Dolphins this year. You probably should have done that for them Jets.
Oh, hey-oh.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, I know you are. All right.
That's one of the best memes all time.
It is.
I love
one
it.
of the greats.
Thank you, Marshawn.
I will say this. We'll turn to Oller here really quickly because, again, we won't talk about Monday because I asked specifically how Sunday. Well, how was Sunday for you? Did you watch some other football on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay. Did you enjoy yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
It was cool.
All right. It was a good day.
I pulled up the ticket.
Yep.
Had the multi-view going on.
All right.
I also pulled up my phone and was watching Red Zone.
Okay.
Red Zone is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Red Zone is amazing.
You guys need to sponsor us, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll get there.
One day.
Yeah, one day.
I need a login, a free login at least.
That's just that.
I mean,
They don't have to pay us anything. Just give us free. Give
Free
us free
logins,
tickets.
I'm
Give
with
us
it.
free something.
yeah, I'll take free.
Free is good.
Free's
Everybody
me.
loves free.
Yeah, now I watch football all day.
All right.
I didn't do Bible study though.
No.
No 7 a.m. Bible study over here.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Sunday. Really enjoyed Sunday.
I know.
Now, part of the plan was for me to actually go up north and actually see that dude. Supposed to go up and see that guy right there. Supposed to see Crispy. That didn't end up happening. And part of the reason being is because about a little over a month ago, I actually booked a weekend with another family member of mine here locally. And then about a week later, I forgot that I did that. And then I said, hey, I'm going to come up to Greenville. We can watch football up there and everything else. So the original booking was with my cousin, and he came over to the house and we watched some football. Now, let me tell you, I was hyped for Sunday, right? I was hyped for week one. Just had an amazing time. The whole setup was there. Did the grilling, did the ribs. Wife made some buffalo chicken dip. I mean, it was just on, right?
Didn't invite me.
No, did not invite you.
Wonder why.
Well, eventually you will be invited. It was just I already had plans for the weekend. So that did not include you. That included my cousin.
Touche.
I'm going to realize that might hurt your feelings a little bit, but eventually you'll be at the house and you'll be enjoying ribs. Although you told me that you don't eat meat, so I don't know if you're going to dig on swine.
Whoa. I do eat meat.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Do you eat pork?
No.
Okay.
My name is Allah. I don't eat pork.
Okay, that's fine.
Just had to let you know that.
I mean, I just wanted to clarify. So you're not going to enjoy the ribs that I'm going to make, but that's fine.
My name is Crispy, and I eat pork. I'm just saying.
Eats
I
pork.
will take Allah's portions.
That's fine. That's
you go.
fine.
There
I
you
will,
go.
I will definitely bring
I
those.
would just like an invite.
I do have some other good stuff that you'll definitely enjoy when you come over. So we'll make it happen.
that good stuff.
Yeah, it's that good stuff.
I'm with that.
Yo.
Yep.
All
That's
right.
another show.
It's another show. It is another kind of show. So I don't want to spend too much more time on this, but I over-enjoyed myself. Okay, so I was fortunate enough to be off Sunday, Monday, and I really, really enjoyed the fact that I was off on Monday.
Rub it in, why don't you?
I didn't enjoy Monday, but I was happy that I was off Monday because I got so hyped for week one that I started enjoying alcohol at about 10 o'clock that morning, right? And proceeded to continue to enjoy alcohol at 11, at 12,
What?
at 12:30.
What?
The game started.
What?
Still drinking.
What?
Eventually ran out of vodka.
What?
Thought it would be a good idea to move to beer.
What?
Yeah, did that. And not only did I move to beer, I decided to move to Red Stripe.
What?
Go figure.
You sound like Stone Cold over
I'm
there.
telling you, man. I mean, it was on. So watched the first game, ate, continued to drink. Watched the second games, continued to drink. Everybody else left. And I'm at the house. Wife goes to bed. I'm just relaxing. And I thought, you know what? I'm hungry again. So I went and got a whole nother plate of food, right? A whole nother stack of ribs, more cheese, potatoes, like all kinds of stuff on my plate. Continued to drink more beer.
You sound like a heathen.
Watched how much of that Sunday night football game did I watch?
Sorry. I didn't mean to
I
laugh.
watched a good portion of that game and thought, what in the hell am I watching? Why am I still awake, even though I don't have to work tomorrow?
I thought it was a Madden broadcast at first. I thought somebody had tapped in and we were just watching Madden for a second.
So proceeded to go to bed.
40.
Proceeded to go to bed and woke up at 2 a.m.
Oh,
Were your balls in?
hunched over.
I mean, let me tell you something. I had a combination of everything. I had heartburn. I thought I was
Indigestion.
I thought I was going to upchuck. I had indigestion. I was concerned I might actually have an accident.
Upset stomach, diarrhea.
All of it. I mean, I needed Pepto like you would not believe, right? I mean, I was the perfect candidate for that particular, I felt like I needed the Pepto-Bismol at that particular moment in time. So I'm sitting there. I don't know which way it's going to go.
Pepto, right here.
Needed it in the worst way. And I'm like, then on top of everything else, nothing happened. That was the biggest problem, is that I got no relief whatsoever. Nothing came out here. Nothing came out anywhere. I'm just like, can I get some level of relief? Anything possible. Anything at all. Nothing happens. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess we're just going to have to figure this one out. So I didn't want to go back into the bed because I didn't want to put the wife through any more of that. So I went downstairs. I proceeded for the next couple of hours because of all the food I ate on top of the alcohol. I had meat sweats. Like, I am just perspiring consistently for like 3 hours. I'm dying here, right? So I get up at like 7. I haven't slept worth a damn the entire night. I get up and I'm just like, coffee. I need something. I mean, I'm chugging bottles of water. I need coffee, everything else. Finally, I'm dying at this point. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. So I forced myself to go outside and cut the grass so I could try to sweat some of this out of my system. Couldn't help myself. I don't know what's going on right now.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
I didn't know what to do with my hands. I had no idea what to do with my hands in that particular situation. So needless to say, I had some serious Sunday shenanigans, man. Like, I lost all control, just said, screw it. I was having a great time, good food, and I lost my mind. I really did. And by 8 o'clock on, 8:30 Monday night, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm going to try to make it through a little bit, and I might have made it another hour, and I was like, I'm tapping out. I can't deal with it. I couldn't. I was absolutely exhausted. So it was rough, man. It was a rough time, but it was a great time.
Did you see the massacre Sunday night?
I saw a good portion of the massacre, yes.
Okay.
That's probably part of the problem, is the fact that I was up that late, too. I probably should have just been like, I don't really need to watch this.
Yeah, this game is out the way.
I stayed up for it. I was thinking that somehow something was going to improve, and it just didn't really get any better. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So Sunday was fun, but it was a rough Monday for me. So
Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day. Whew, God.
At least the yard got cut.
The yard did get cut. It didn't look very good, but it got cut. That's for sure. All right. So moving on really quickly. I'm going to touch on this, and then we're going to keep moving.
Touching on stuff.
I like to touch things.
Hey, yo.
Hey, bing bong. The Braves have clinched. First team to do so in the postseason. Braves have clinched. First team to do so in baseball. I realize you're actually being kind of calm about this, but then, of course, behind the camera, we got this one over here. Obviously very upset in general about everything that's been going on the last, last couple months when it comes to baseball, and certainly the last, week. But Braves do clinch. You mentioned something to me when we talked about this earlier, because I think Olsen just hit his 50th home run.
That he's on steroids.
You think he's on steroids?
No, I think the whole Braves roster is on the steroids.
Here we go.
And just let you know that.
This is what happened.
I just think they have a bunch of steroids in the clubhouse.
Yep.
That they just run in and out the clubhouse every time. They chop it up.
Yeah, that's what they do.
And they just get it
They
in.
chop upstairs. Is that how steroids work?
No, I think they Doing it a different way.
They're doing it a different way.
Yeah.
All right.
They're not injecting.
So
You get
Olsen has a
covered.
very good chance, of course, of breaking the franchise record of 51 home runs in a single season.
Oh,
So
phooey.
we know that's going to happen, and
one
probably
cares.
moving on to the World Series. So there's that. So the Braves have clinched. Again, just wanted to touch on a little bit of baseball. Yes, I'm touching again. Don't worry about it.
Keeps touching balls.
Crispy, maybe you can shed a little light on this because I know you mentioned this before we came on about the information regarding Jones signing the 1-year deal with the Chiefs. What is that information looking like? What's that signing look like?
Yeah. So everyone knows that Chris Jones is vital to the Kansas City defense. So they were able to get that contract done with up today. Contract's worth up to $25 million this year. He was already getting paid about $19.5 million. Sorry, guy.
That's rough.
Kind of thing, right? So it's really incentive based. I was reading over some of the things that he, if he gets 15 or more sacks, there's a $500,000 kind of thing. If he makes all pro, he gets another $1 million, $2 million incentive if he gets defensive player of the year, and the Kansas City Chiefs repeat as Super Bowl champs. So he's happy now. He's got that extra money that he can potentially make. So he's super excited about that. We'll see him on Sunday. Are they playing? I think they got Sunday. So we'll see him on Sunday. Watching that game this past weekend, I think Kansas City is going to be super excited to have him back in the middle. They picked up some pieces on the edges that were not as good without having big guy in the middle. So I'm a big fan of him. I'm excited to get him back onto the field. It's great for football. So excited for him, and congratulations to him. Now he's happy.
He gets that $19.5 million anyway, but Allah doesn't seem to think he's going to make any more money than that because reaching those incentives seem a bit lofty.
He's not the best D tackle in football.
It doesn't have to be to make the money.
I don't care.
Well, I know
This
where
is
I
really
was
the
going
kind of
with
day
this
this is
one,
gonna
and it's tough to. Quentin Williams is something special, bro.
No, I mean,
I know we've all seen the Hard Knocks, so we got to give him some kudos. That kid's nice.
No. But see,
Really good.
one thing doesn't have anything to do with the other because while Chris Jones may not be as good, and I would agree with that, it still doesn't mean he can't reach some of those figures. It doesn't mean he can't get the sacks.
I laughed at he's not a sack guy.
Right.
I laughed at that one, and I also laughed at he's definitely not going to win Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
So those are just like incentives that they just threw in a contract to do what?
To give him incentive to be better.
I mean, okay.
Apparently, it worked.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. I know he needs to feed his family and all,
Right.
With all those millions and millions and millions of bazillions of dollars.
So reading further in here, some of the other incentives, if he plays 35% of the time, he gets $1 million. If he plays 50% of the time, he gets an additional $1 million kind of thing. So if he gets 10 sacks, he can get 1.25.
Can I show up to work and get $1 million?
So-
Right.
That's what I want to know.
I just want to be there 35% of the time and reach an extra $1 million on
That's it.
top of my contract.
That's it.
Yeah, that's no problem.
I won't show up to work anymore for the rest of the year.
Right. Just 35%.
That's it.
I like it.
Not the rest.
So maybe I can get a little bit of help with this.
Nope.
Crispy, I know you have some of this stuff popped up in front of you, but a quick rundown of some of the scores from Sunday.
Yeah.
Hope you want to hit me up? Want to let me know?
I got some scores for you if you need
Give
them.
me some scores,
man.
man.
I got a couple of computers here with scores
All right.
and things like
Yeah,
that.
you're all set
So,
up. You ready to go?
so we start out with Thursday night football, right? We had Kansas City and Detroit Lions with 21-20 victory there. Little surprising win there, but maybe the Chris Jones thing had something to do with that. Lower in the banner seems to be a bad luck at times.
Maybe.
Well, Kadarius
some
Toney
other
couldn't
games.
catch a cold, so there was that too. So
Yeah, that's Zach boy.
Yeah, some other games. We had Falcons over the Panthers, 24-10. Snoozer. Surprise game here. Browns over the Bengals, 24-3. Honestly, if you watch that Falcons-Carolina game, it was a snoozer.
It was okay. I
All right.
watched it.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
just
I
waiting
did
for the rest of the
too.
scores. I know you're probably looking for some kind of reaction, but that's fine. You can
No,
keep
I mean, I was in the house full of Carolina Panther fans, so you know how that went. Jaguars 31-21 over the Colts. We had a surprise win here. Bucks over the Vikes 2017. A gross game 16-15. Saints over the Titans.
That game was
40
terrible.
Yeah. I honestly, I wasn't really impressed with a lot of because they were just snoozers in my opinion. So Commanders squeaked one out over the Cardinals. I was watching that like through the red zone.
Oh, they have the worst.
I'm glad I didn't turn that one on.
They have the worst jerseys in all of football.
Commanders?
No, the Cardinals.
Oh, the Cardinals?
It's disgusting.
Don't they have like an all black that they're going to be rocking this year?
And it just says Arizona across the chest.
Ooh,
There's like no logos, no nothing.
Well, that jersey's probably could be better than the one that they were rocking on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably better. But coming up for number 2 is the Falcons. Those jerseys are terrible. The new ones, it just says ATL on the chest, and that's it, with a red stripe down the side.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
Go back to the throwbacks. I like the old ones.
Yeah.
They will be rocking those a few times this year.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of teams that should go back to the throwbacks. I'm a Dolphins. I'd love to see the old
Jags,
Dolphin
the
logo. I
Jags
like the new one when we
jerseys are
first
so
got it, but
clean.
now that we've had it, let's go back to the old one. You
Yeah.
pull it out every once in a while, and I don't know. I like the old style as well.
Yeah.
With the rest of what we got, we had the Eagles over the Patriots 25-20. Raiders snuck out one over the Broncos 17-16. Packers still owning the Bears, even with A-Rod not there, 38-20. Dolphins 36-34 over the Chargers late. Had the Rams over the Seahawks 30-13. Cowboys smoked the Giants 40-0. And then we'll
Monday
leave the
Night
last
Football.
one for later.
Monday Night Football.
I'm going to sit this one out.
So we went through Sunday's games really quickly. We gave you some scores, but we're going to talk a little bit more about our reactions to what basically transpired in the NFL in week 1 and our sort of our perspective on it. And I'll tease you with this because I read something Monday morning that said the first Sunday of the NFL season did not disappoint. Now I'm just going to leave it at that. And then we're going to discuss this a little bit further because there's some people in the room may have a different perspective than I do on this particular comment. I'd like to talk about that. There were some interesting games, some teams that things happened to you wouldn't have expected. I mean, there were a lot of head scratchers, but I think there's a reason for that, and that we're definitely going to be touching on that here in just a little bit. But let's get into Monday Night Football. Let's talk about this. This is the story of the NFL season so far. And despite the fact that the NFL season is so young, this is something that we're going to continue to be talking about for the foreseeable future. And for the simple fact that Aaron Rodgers goes down for the New York Jets in the Monday Night Football game against the Buffalo Bills.
That's my quarterback.
The New York Jets still managed to win this game late, but Aaron Rodgers goes down. We're only a couple plays into the game on offense. Goes down with an Achilles tear. He's out for the season. So all this hype around the Jets going in, which was justifiable hype, all of the players that they have, the defense, which in my opinion is second to none. You have all these weapons on offense. Yes, we're looking at some weaknesses on the offensive line, but I think over time they progressively get better, especially when it's an offensive line that's blocking for somebody like Aaron Rodgers because of his expectations, and I think those guys would have certainly, stepped up their game. Aaron Rodgers goes down. The question that I have, and I have to start with you on this, and I realize that you'd love to sit this particular topic out, but the question that I have, and the reason why I have this question, is that you brought Aaron Rodgers in because you figured that you needed this guy in there for two reasons. One, because you're in practically win mode now because of all the pieces that you have both on offense and defense. And two, you don't have the utmost confidence that Zach Wilson can be the guy to move this team forward. So now that Rodgers goes down, are you now rolling with Wilson? And is it just because of addition by subtraction, or is there somebody else out there that you think this team needs to look at to potentially move forward with all the talent they have around them?
First of all, that is my quarterback. I miss you, Aaron. Come back. I cried.
I'm not surprised.
And then I wiped the tears when the walk-off punt return happened in OT.
Okay.
It's going to be rough, right? Zach Wilson clearly is not the answer. That's why they brought Aaron in. Mm-hmm. He didn't look terrible, but he is not the answer.
Right.
So what do? Do you open up the playbook a little bit? allow him the freedom to not dink and dunk and screen and short pass and quick pass. Breece Hall looked amazing coming off that ACL.
Yes, he did.
Dalvin Cook is working his way in there, but Breece was the guy, right?
And Dalvin comes in late, right?
Of
We
course.
know that. Yeah, it's going to take some time.
Both of them, right? Because both of them didn't really go through camp. The offensive line didn't look that bad, to be honest with you. And on the play that Aaron got hurt, he held on to the ball too long. I got a screenshot of the picture because I saw the Achilles pop like everybody else did. The slant is right there. He didn't throw it because he likes to hold on to the ball to make a bigger play sometime. So I don't necessarily think it was the lineman's fault. And just the defense is amazing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't like what they're talking about going after Kirk Cousins or Matthew Stafford, like they were rumored to go with first. Jameis Winston's been tossed out there. I do like Jameis, but I don't want to eat any W's this time.
Don't get me started. That's my quarterback.
He's eating them W's. I don't know where you go. Where you go? Because first of all, listen, I love you, Cap, but we are not going to Kaepernick, right?
Yeah, we've heard that report out now that his agents have reached out to the Jets.
7 years too late.
7 years too long.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do. You have to.
You can only throw to so many high school kids, right?
That would be true.
Yeah. I mean, here's my question though. Is like, who's behind Zach right now?
Tim Boyle.
It is Tim. Okay. All right. I just don't. I would say that you may need to bring somebody else in. The question then becomes, who is it going to be? And Crispy, what's your perspective on this particular situation? I mean,
yeah,
it's a tough one for me because I think Zach Wilson eventually could. I think that this was that year where he sits behind Rodgers and learns, but now he's being thrown to the wolves, and so I think it's a year too early. I think he's got enough. I think he has the talent. I just don't know if now's the time.
Yeah, so found out 5 names I'd love to throw out there to y'all, see what y'all's thoughts are. All right. I also have whether or not this quarterback can come in and start for y'all right away. And then, or these guys can come in and be backups to Zach Wilson. Because watching Hard Knocks and kind of seeing how Zach's kind of evolved this year, his confidence, he's always been a pretty confident guy. I feel like his confidence is a little bit higher now, having Rodgers there really teaching him and saying, hey, no, this is what you should have done there. So it's really helped with his confidence. I got 5 names here for you. I'm going to go with the 2 least likely, in my opinion. Just quick reactions. Carson Wentz.
Hell no.
He would be a backup. I don't think he comes in to start, but I think he could be a backup.
Yeah, another guy that can't stay healthy.
Right.
Cam Newton.
Hell no.
Backup.
No.
Not a starter.
Yeah, I mean, Cam wouldn't come in to be a backup anyway, so that's not going to matter. Cam thinks he can start over like 31 other quarterbacks in the league.
And I don't even know if he can still throw the ball properly.
Yeah.
All right. Tom Brady.
Hell no.
Tom Brady steps in.
Hell no.
Can't do it.
I'll come back to that one.
No. First
all
of
right,
all,
this one's a stretch.
See, the thing about Brady would have to be not the fact of we are obviously we know the rivalry. It's the fact that he's part owner of the Raiders, that he would have to give that up to come over and play again. He's not doing that.
I'm sure he would put that on pause to go try to win one more ring.
No.
All right. I got 2 more. This one. Drew Brees.
Hell no again.
You got to bring some expectations down here, Bubba.
Listen, we just saw what happened to Aaron Rodgers, right?
You're good. All right. Well, there's not much out there.
He keep naming me 39, 40, 47-year-old people.
You need somebody that's going to step in there who's got some experience.
I'm a man.
All right, here's
40.
the last one.
No.
All right, here's the last one. Matty Ice.
Oh, my. Look.
Come on, man. These are old guys that could step in and start right away for you.
Old guys?
All right, so I'll give you. So the first 2 we know we're out. Matt Ryan, he's a guy who's also too old, in my opinion. But more importantly, not so much age, because I think he understands offenses. I think they have enough talent around him. We know that when he has the protection in front of him, because he's not very mobile, he can still pick apart defenses. The problem is that the offensive line was starting to dwindle in the last couple of years he was in Atlanta. We saw what happened with the Colts because that offensive line was not very good in front of him there either. And then the Jets' weakness is the offensive line right now. I'm not saying it's like, damn, I almost said this and I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say.
You was about to say the Achilles heel,
yeah,
right?
I was, and I stopped myself.
You was going to do it.
I was going to do it, but it wasn't. It wasn't to got to ruffle your feathers. What I'm saying is that it's still their weakest link, and you need a guy that is going to be able to either get rid of the ball quickly, which Matt Ryan's always had a quick release, but he's got to be a little bit more mobile, and he's not a guy that can do that now. Drew Brees, yes, more mobile than any of those guys that we're talking about. I mean, again, Cam Newton's more mobile, but we're not considering him at this point. Drew Brees, the most mobile of the three guys that I would consider of the old group that you decided to throw our way.
He gave me the AARP.
He definitely did. He definitely gave you the AARP.
Throw me some names out there. What would you guys think?
But let me
Tyrod Taylor, right?
Garbage.
Gardner Minshew. I love Gardner Minshew. Come on over.
Confident, but it's just
Heineke?
lacking talent.
We could get Heineke.
Oh, Atlanta ain't giving him up. They're not sure about Ritter.
Yeah, they're not giving him up.
All I'm saying is there are people out there. They were trying to move Stafford. They threw Kirk Cousins' name out there because he's in the last year of his deal. There's a bunch of Mitch Trubisky. I mean, there's a bunch of backup quarterbacks that I would take over those old fossils.
But here's the common theme, though. None of those guys
are Aaron Rodgers, right?
No,
I love you, Aaron. Come back.
Oh my God, he isn't magically going to be able to.
You want mines? Look, it's a different color, but you can have it. I'm gonna get
it. Here's the thing, though. That the common thread is that none of those guys are starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah, they can't even start on the sorry teams that they're on.
Gardner Minshew is a starting quarterback.
We're all still enamored by the one season that he had in Jacksonville and the great porn stash that he has. And beyond that, that's not really going to win you any games.
Bring the porn stash to New York.
Yeah, I just don't buy it, man. I just don't buy it. But here's the common thread. How many other names are there? There's just not a lot of options, man. Like, what other names are there? I mean, now, we could go beyond
the guy
this
from
and
Baltimore?
start talking about
the backup
trades.
in Baltimore.
Huntley, we don't know. We good. We're going to pass on him.
No, definitely not Huntley.
Yeah,
no.
I'd rather stick with Zach Wilson, and he's trash.
Here's the thing, though. I'm thinking about, there's no free agents out there that I think are that could come in there and do a better job than Zach Wilson. You would have to go for trade. You would have to go that route. And if there's anybody that you've mentioned, any of the names that I've mentioned right now, it would be Kirk Cousins, because of his ability to get the football down the field, and you have the Stallions, man. You've got the guys that he can throw the ball to.
I guess the problem will be is at what cost, right? They gave up. Now they're not giving up a number one, obviously due to the injury, right?
Of course.
It's still going to be a 2 they're giving up, which is okay.
Yeah.
But what do you do next year if he comes back, right? Because it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
But he also has said recently that he wanted to stay like another 5 years, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
That was with the healthy Achilles.
But it's not the plant leg; it's the left leg.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron's mobile, but he wasn't always the most shiftiest of quarterbacks, right? He'll get out the pocket, but
he was deceptively quick.
But he can sit there
and deliver. Sure, he can.
Right?
Yeah.
It's all arm.
You think Dallas would entertain Lance?
They just picked him up. Why would they flip him?
Hey, I'm just throwing out options.
I'm gonna give you one name that I have been reading that I would accept. Come on back, Sammy. Sam Darnold.
You love that arm, don't you?
I love Sam Darnold.
He's got a cannon. But he's just decision making. I don't know. I don't know. Karen, I don't think.
Ooh, what about
He's in San Francisco.
Oh,
Stetson Bennett.
No, we're gonna pass. He's like 37.
He just got out of college.
Right.
That's true too.
He's 37.
Where he's at.
Yeah, he's the modern day Chris Winkie. He just got out of college.
Chris Winkie's my guy.
Hey man, I love me some Chris Winkie.
Chris Winkie was my guy.
Let's go Knowles.
Yeah, look. Here's the thing. I just don't know, man. I think that I read this a little bit earlier that Saleh has come out, the head coach for the Jets, and has said that Wilson is the guy. I thought I saw that. I could be mistaken.
No, he said that. He said it after the game.
Right after the game.
He had to.
He had to, right, in that situation. The question becomes, does he still feel that way?
No one feels that way. We did not expect Zach Wilson to play this year.
Here's I want to talk about Aaron
What about
Rodgers.
Colt McCoy?
I would take Colt McCoy.
Okay.
I mean, but he's like 39 too. Like,
I don't think he's that old, but
why is giving me all the old people, man?
Look,
Wait, that's
not a lot
what's
of options,
available.
bro. There's not a lot.
Colin
of options.
Kaepernick's available too.
Yeah, but
Apparently.
he hasn't been playing for 7 years.
He's 34.
All I'm saying is, hey, he's younger than what they've been
That's
giving
true.
me.
But
I
he's
mean-
7 years removed from playing football. I'm going to take a guy that's just played football within the last 2 years and knows what
Hey,
the NFL is now versus Cap.
he has no wear and tear on his body.
That's for sure.
He still has a cannon too.
Yeah, I've seen
Right?
him throw. Yeah,
He's mobile.
yeah.
He'll get out the way of those linemen not
Yeah.
blocking. And all we do is we're gonna run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
would
if you're going to run the ball, hey, you got the bell cows that can do it. You just run with Wilson. Let's roll. Let's see what he does.
and that's what that's where we're gonna have.
Yeah.
And your money's probably going to run a little thin too. I don't know if you could pay Cousins.
We won 7 games with him last year.
Yeah.
The defense is better this year.
The whole team's better this year.
So
yeah.
let's see.
Still, I still think if he can maintain a sort of mistake-free game moving forward, I'm not asking him to go ballistic, right?
Right.
I'm not asking him to do that. But if he can maintain a relatively mistake-free season moving forward, I still think they have a shot at a wild card. I still think they're a playoff team.
I
think they have enough talent to get it done.
I'm gonna stick with my pick.
I mean, look, we've seen defensive-minded teams, only defensive-minded teams, go maybe not win it all, but like the Bears when they lost to the Colts in the Super Bowl. I mean, does anybody remember who they had on offense? I mean, like
Yes. Sexy Rexy was
obviously
the quarterback.
we know,
baby.
but the reality is that how many defensive touchdowns did they score that year? I mean, like they were the highlight
Well, they
of
had-
the NFL season.
They had, in my opinion, one of the best middle linebackers of all time.
No question. No
I love
question.
Brian
Yeah,
Urlacher.
Urlacher was amazing. But my point is that you have a defense that can get things done. You have a defense that can turn the ball over, and you made Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills look pedestrian.
Well, we normally do that to Josh Allen.
Oh.
I told you that before, too.
Right.
Josh Allen doesn't play well against the Jets.
Right.
And I don't know. What is he, the new Cam Newton? What is he diving over?
Well, I tell you
He's
what,
gotta stop it.
but this is a Buffalo Bills problem. We're not going to get into that right now. This is a Buffalo Bills problem, and they have not done enough to put the weapons around him that they need to. I know you can say
I
at
said
wide
that,
receiver
right?
they've got it, but they have not. They needed to make some moves and get running backs in there, and they should have traded for Derrick Henry in the offseason, and they didn't do it. And it's too much going on in Buffalo. I think they take a huge step back this year. We've already talked about that with some of our picks. I will. The last thing I want to talk about with the Jets really quickly is the Aaron Rodgers factor, and you know he's 39 years old, and it would be easy and it would be understandable for the layman to look at a situation like this and Aaron Rodgers go, you know what?
I'm
This
done.
obviously wasn't meant to be. I'm done, right? And I don't know that anybody outside of the Jets fanatics would say that they disagree with it necessarily, right? The point is, though, is that Aaron Rodgers has enough of an ego. I just don't think
agree.
he's done.
Especially if you watch Hard Knocks.
I know he's 39, and I know at his age, by comparison to somebody who's in their 20s that has an Achilles issue, he may not. Maybe the rehab takes a little bit longer. Now everybody recovers differently, and we don't know how he's going to recover from this. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers goes out like that. What do you think?
No, I don't.
I don't think so. I think he's coming back. Crispy, you think he comes back next year?
Oh man, I don't know. That's
think
going to
he's
be a
got-
tough one. That's going to be a lot of rehab. Granted, it's week 1 in NFL, so
Yeah.
at best case, he's going to be back right at preseason.
Yeah. And they don't play
I
much
don't
in
know.
preseason anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
I mean, he
just
played
think
the
his-
one this year. I don't know. I hope he does. I really do. I mean, as a Dolphins fan, you know, I truly, really felt really bad for Jets fans yesterday.
Yep.
I really did. My son, we're watching the game, and just as a football fan,
Yeah.
I felt horrible when this happened.
Yeah.
You know, I was excited, watch the Hard Knocks, you know, all the hype and everything. I was hoping for a great football season, watching Aaron Rodgers do his thing with the Jets and things like that. So I hate it for football. I really do. I hope he does come back. You know, I'm a fan of him. I really do. So I hope he does, but I don't know. 40-year-old. Because he turns 40 at the end of the year, or is he turned 40 already?
Nah, he turns 40.
Towards the end of the season.
Months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
Let me just say this to kind of finish this out here really quickly, unless you had anything else
Real
you want
quick.
to add. But
Camera on me. all you people out there hating that somebody got hurt and then you're cheering it on and you're going out there on social media and you're saying, yeah, I'm glad he got hurt and you deserve it. You too, Zach. You said it. You. All right?
Oh, wow. There's something wrong with you if you do that, by the way.
Right.
I will say this, though. Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys that the reason I felt so bad about it is multiple reasons, obviously. You don't want to see anybody go down with an injury like that. But Aaron Rodgers is good for football. I mean, that's sure. Just reality, right? He is good for football, and him not being a part of it this year. And I'll say this, especially after all of the hype. I mean, people were just I was waiting. I was going to be watching more Jets football this season than I'd ever watched in my life, okay? And it's because of him. And it is because of him. And so I hope he comes back for very selfish reasons. I'm not even a Jets fan, but I love watching Aaron Rodgers play football. I think he is one of the most talented people I've ever seen put a helmet on. His ability to throw the football, the accuracy that he has, and the swagger that he walks around with, I think is just.
That's why I think he comes back next year.
Yeah, I just don't think I don't think his ego is going to allow him to hang it up at this point.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Hopefully it's
Unfinished
the right
business.
decision. Hopefully it's the right decision. Hopefully he can come back and have another good season.
What if he comes back like Terminator next year too?
I mean, obviously, you would love that. So, I mean, it's just,
no, I'm not saying that selfishly because obviously I have a Jets jersey.
Right.
Just saying in general, like, once he come back and like just lights it up?
When's that? What, 5th MVP? Whatever means he got.
Right, and then rides off into the sunset.
Yeah, and on top of everything else, it's comeback player of the year, wins an MVP, wins a Super Bowl, and then it rides off on that Harley and goes to play golf.
I mean, you've already paid him. So you got him. He's already paid for 2 years, right?
Though.
That was the question I had. Was it 2 years? It was a 2-year deal?
It's like almost like a 4-year deal.
Okay.
He extended it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And took a $36 million pay cut. I love you, Aaron. Come on back.
So we're hoping that he's going to come back and be the Terminator. Speaking of Terminator.
Oh, good segue.
Speaking of Terminator, when you win a game 40-0, okay? When you win a game 40-0, the questions do come up, okay? And in all seriousness, and this is what I have in my notes.
Knee slap.
This is what I have in my notes. Are the Cowboys that good, or are the Giants that bad? And this is the reason why you have to ask this question is because there was this huge divide in the score, right? Because obviously coming into the season, the Dallas Cowboys were looking at this, and it's like, we know they have a very good defense. Like, we know they've got the guys on that side of the ball that can get things done. They do get burnt from time to time, but this is a very, very good defense. It's a top 5 defense in the NFL, in my opinion. Dak Prescott has always been the X factor for me when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, and I don't think that I'm alone in that assessment because right about the time you start thinking that the Cowboys are going to do something is when Dak Prescott will typically let you down and throw very, very untimely interceptions. I say very, very. I don't know why I would say very, very. Just throw untimely interceptions. In marquee games, in games that could make or break their season, get them into the playoffs or in a playoff game. So, and the Giants come into the season with some question marks, right? We know that. We talked a lot during the offseason, just in conversations between all of us about Daniel Jones. And there was a lot of questions and people had conversations about why would you pay this guy so much money? And the question that I always ask everybody is like, okay, if you're not paying him, who are you paying? Right? This is a guy who they believed, and we saw the evolution of Daniel Jones. He was definitely a better quarterback last year than he was in years prior. So it was there, and they believed in him because of the type of system that they run, the type of offense that works for him. But there were obviously question marks about some of the other talent they were putting around him. And we knew Saquon Barkley had a comeback year last year, was a great season. But the wide receiver position is still something that people are questioning, right?
They got Cole Beasley.
Do they have enough around a guy like Daniel Jones to take it to the next level defensively? This is a pretty good team on paper coming into the season. But you're at home on Sunday Night Football in front of your home fans,
night.
And you get shellacked. Like, you get absolutely, what was the term I used earlier today? Mollywopped? Was that what it was? you get absolutely mollywopped by the Dallas Cowboys at your home stadium. And I'm not trying to poke fun at them, but it's a legitimate question. Like, are the Cowboys that good? Because Dak Prescott statistically in that game didn't do anything outrageous.
He didn't need to.
He didn't need to. But is Dallas that good or the Giants that bad? Crispy, I'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, so just looking at some numbers here, I didn't realize Dak finished with a 72.0 rating for the night. He was 13 of 24, 143 yards.
That's very Dak Prescott-esque, though, isn't it? I mean, that's kind of what we're used to.
Yeah.
Middle of the pack.
He didn't throw a pick, though, so that's an improvement from what they're saying from last year.
He said he's only throwing 10 this year.
We love you, Dak.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at this through the defensive lens of this. The defense for Dallas showed up.
Sure.
I mean, we had 7 sacks, 10 tackles for losses. I mean, they were in the backfield all night on Daniel Jones. He didn't have a chance. Really didn't allow Saquon to really get going. I know that Mike McCarthy took over the play calling, so there might be a little bit more of a conservative offense to help Dak not want to turn the ball over as much. But I'm going to go with right now, Dallas has proven that this defense can be a top-notch defense. I'm saying that Dallas is that good. I think McCarthy's going to give Dak enough confidence to where he's going to play at a higher level. Didn't show here tonight, I understand, but I think as they get progressing through this season, I think Dak's going to get a little bit more comfortable. McCarthy's going to let it loose a little bit more. And the way the game was going, we had rain and stuff. Maybe it was the game plan to stick to the ground. Pollard had 70 yards. Rico had 24 yards. So didn't have to do much. Defense did a lot for them. So I'm going with the Cowboys being that good of a team.
Wait, you asking me now?
Yeah. What you think?
I mean, I think they left bad juju in the stadium for us. And that's what happened to Aaron, right? Love you, Aaron. Come on back.
So it's the Giants' fault that happened to Aaron.
Yes.
Okay.
It was their fault.
Okay.
Secondly, I don't think the Giants are that bad, to be honest with you. They really look bad.
Yeah.
Opening week, but it is opening week.
Sure.
So, I mean, do we put more stock into week one kind of? It's like you're working out the kinks, right?
Yeah.
A lot of players don't play in the preseason. You're opening night, jitters, whatever it is, bad weather, bad turf. You got to get rid of the turf there at MetLife. Clearly, we see why. I don't know. I don't think the Cowboys are that good.
Okay.
And I would have loved to see them next week with Aaron Rodgers going against them with that defense, but I don't know. I'm gonna say it's not the Cowboys being that good.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like I'm somewhere in between because it's like I agree with both of you. Like right. I know coming into the season, the Cowboys defense still they did what I thought that they were capable of doing, which I think a lot of people talked about. I think they proved that the hype around their defense is legitimate. This is a good defense. Again, we've talked about this from time to time. Off camera, just having, our usual football conversations. This is a defense that will get after it. They will come after you, but occasionally they'll get a little too aggressive and they'll get burnt, and they've proven that, right? But they're a year older. They're a year more mature. They're a year a little bit better. I don't think the Giants are that bad. Like, I cannot, for the life of me, think that the Giants are that bad. The biggest question mark for me is going to be, how do they bounce back? Right? Because that was an embarrassment. You're at home, you're Sunday Night Football, it's primetime TV, and you get shut out at home by a division rival. Now, the Giants have statistically the last couple seasons played pretty well in their own division, right? Mm-hmm. They give people fits. They're not the team that just gets rolled over every single week by their own divisional foes. I am really curious about something really quickly, and Zach, maybe you can help me out with this. Do you have I'm curious about Saquon's numbers in that game, because I know as good as Dallas's defense was, I was curious about what Saquon actually did with the night. And I imagine they would abandon the run eventually. But
yeah, about 3 fumbles, though.
Saquon had 12 carries for 51 yards and then added another 12 yards receiving on 3 catches.
So really, I mean, it's a 12-carry situation, only 15 touches. So at that point, you're abandoning the run. I mean, you're not going to continue to run the football. So, I mean, efficiently on the ground, I mean, 12 carries of 51. I mean, if that's, that's not a terrible per yard average, but weather wasn't great. Turf isn't great. You said that yourself. I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine that the Giants are actually that bad. I just can't. I just don't see it. But I do have concerns around this team specifically in a situation where you're down by a lot and you have to make a comeback. Are you built for
with
that?
no weapons?
That's the biggest concern.
Yep. And that offensive line looked worse than my offensive line.
That was a little bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad.
I know that Dallas's defense is that good, but I just felt like eventually once you get to a point where you're down by 30, I mean, I wonder at that point if it's like, all right, whatever. Like, we know we're not going to win this game, but it felt like they were getting beat every single play. And Daniel Jones had no time. Like, no time. And this is a guy that's relatively mobile, mind you. So, mobile. Right? So, like, when he doesn't have time to escape the pocket, you've really got a problem. And that offensive line definitely didn't help matters at all.
I mean, the defense was on the field every single play.
Yep. That was a tough show.
What you got to say about it, buddy?
Yeah, the offensive line is definitely the number one issue. I think the defense is still good on paper. I think they weren't really dealt a good hand here with the amount of everything that was going on that game that went against us. Dallas's defense is great. There's no doubt about it.
They're not great. They're good.
They're good. We made them look elite. And that comes down to our offensive line, which has been the root of the Giants' issue for at least 3 or 4 years now. They keep bringing in new pieces. They keep getting us all excited in the offseason about those new pieces, and they just haven't come there. And what really hurt, you could see the team just stop trying. On that first drive, marching down the field, center snaps it through his legs right past Danny Dimes, and then they block the kick and return it for the touchdown, and you could see the entire morale of the team
just
was
deflated.
Done. It was done at that moment.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it ended up so lopsided, is because they stopped trying. And that's arguably the most concerning thing that I saw on that football field as a Giants fan.
Okay, that's like 14 points, though, right? What he was saying? They put up another, how many?
26.
Quick math, 26, yep.
Carry the 2.
40 ball on them.
Well, they didn't put another 40, but yeah, they put another 26.
Daniel Jones ended up with more carries than Saquon, and then it was only 8 yards behind him as well. So he had to move a lot that day. That front was on him.
Yeah, and a lot of those carries weren't by design either.
No, that was out of necessity and saving his own life.
Pure fear. And this is a topic that I don't necessarily want to jump into too much, but can I just get a quick yay or nay or agree or disagree on this? I keep seeing, and I know this is not every single team, but go through the league and find quarterbacks that are mobile. And more times than not, and it may not just be this year because we're only a week in, but I know, Crispy, you and I've had this conversation, you and I've had this conversation. It always seems like more times than not, when you have a mobile quarterback that can escape and throw on the run, the team does not invest as much in the offensive line.
That's Lamar Jackson's MO right there, right?
It is I don't. Is it just me?
No, I don't know why. Look at Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I'm trying to think right now.
Joe Burrow's not a mobile quarterback by any means, right? But he did run some option in college, and he can get out the pocket, and they have not addressed the offensive line out there. What they brought in, Orlando Brown Jr., right?
I think so, yeah. Yep.
But what did they do?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, when I think about some of the other teams, I think about Seattle the last few years that Russell Wilson was there.
Even now with Geno, who's a little bit mobile, they still got a bad line too.
It's just I don't know what it is. I keep seeing this, and I know I could name more teams. I mean, this is not. We saw Pittsburgh do this with Ben Roethlisberger. We've seen this time and time again, and it's like, well, we don't quite have to invest as much on our offensive line because this guy can get out of the pocket and he can make plays with his feet and he can throw the ball on the run. So let's put our money somewhere else. And let me tell you something. Some of the greatest teams that have ever been assembled are the ones that have unbelievable offensive lines in front of their quarterback.
Oh, like the Cowboys in the 90s?
Yes. Yes. I mean, look, even if you don't look at some of these guys as being all-world and all-team and Hall of Famers, the one consistency with the New England Patriots all those years that Tom Brady was there,
Is that
great
they
offensive line.
Is that they cheated?
Great offensive line every single year. Every year.
Not great. I'm gonna give you a very good line. Not great. They never had a line that was like an all-time.
That's what.
line.
That's what I preface this with. They're not going to be all pros. They're not going. Most of them, not all of them. Maybe some of them will be. I don't even remember all their names at this point. But I'm also 48, so there's that to be said. But the reality is that they understood their job, right? They knew what they needed to do. They knew they needed to protect the quarterback, and the expectation was there. And I don't know. Great offensive lines have made some of the greatest teams that's ever been assembled. I don't understand the concept of not investing enough money in your offensive line. I just don't get it.
Well,
yeah,
not mine.
Not yours. What?
My quarterback.
Oh goodness. Well, your offensive line wasn't the reason why he went down, but that was the weak point going into the season, and we've had this conversation enough times. So, and guess what? They had a mobile quarterback. They were like, well, Aaron Rodgers can escape and get out of the pocket, so this is the best fit for us right now.
Come back, Aaron.
All right, so
he's gonna have to.
I'm waiting for you.
You want to talk about a barn burner of a game this past Sunday?
It was all right.
I thoroughly enjoyed this. Now, it may have had something to do with the amount of alcohol that I consumed, which is why I had so much fun watching this particular game, because it was in the 4 o'clock hour, and that was the game that I turned on because it had already been going for a little while, and I was like, this looks like this is going to be good. And I know both of these teams really well. I've watched a lot of these teams. San Diego. I still can't stop doing that.
They're San Diego.
I mean, the Chargers. I'm going to see if I can just say the Chargers so I don't have to worry about what city they're in. But the Chargers are the team that Allah picked to win the AFC West.
Yep.
And,
with it.
and I'm looking at this team, and I said it when we made our picks. Some way, somehow, still find a way not to win a football game.
It wasn't Justin Herbert's fault.
I did. Yeah, but when we made our picks, I said it was
doo-doo defense.
And you know what? That's part of their MO as well.
How do you give up a pass interference on a bomb at the end of halftime and then give them 3?
Because you're not very good defensively.
There you go.
They've got all the weapons in the world on offense, but the Miami Dolphins and the Chargers. Again, I'm not going to say what city they're in because I'm going to screw this up more times than not.
They're just a little further north now.
They are just a little further north. They're still in Cali. What a game! I mean, if you don't like defense, it was definitely enjoyable. But no, in all seriousness, though, it was really a joy to watch that aspect of football because you knew there was no defense, but neither one of these teams could not score. Like this was just back and forth and back and forth.
That was a video game.
That was a video game. That was Crispy. If there's anything, that was Madden, bro.
Yeah, it was definitely an offensive showing for sure.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I see you want to hesitate here a little bit, but it's okay. I mean, do you need to shore up some things defensively as well? Possibly, but you're also going up against one of the better offenses in football as well. So I don't know that you're necessarily going to give up 30-odd points every single week, but
they might.
But with an offense like that too, let me tell you something. That Tua looked good. What do you mean? What are his numbers?
Listen, I don't care. I'm not going by what the numbers say. Numbers
28 of
numbers
45.
can be inflated, right?
Well, I mean, but the numbers are indicative of what he was capable of doing on the football field.
They act like they couldn't cover Tyreek Hill.
How many people can?
I mean, you can't run with him, but you could cover. They could sit back. They didn't sit back in no cover 3s. I just seen blown assignments everywhere. They kept putting J.C. Jackson on him. He just kept getting torched. He gave up a bad penalty at the end of the half. He caught a pick, ran the ball out the end zone. They end up on a 3-yard line and a 3-and-out, and they had to punt the ball, give a short field. That defense is really bad.
No, I mean, I get it. And Chris, I'm going to come to you because
pass rush.
Your team was the victor here, and I want to get your perspective on this as well. But I mean, look, here's the reality of the thing. when you look at the rules of football right now, specifically on the defensive side, it is very difficult to cover, keep up with, or put your hands on a guy like Hill because of the rules that are in place. That's why when you've heard arguments between wide receivers and corners and which is the harder position in football, it's corner because of the modern rules.
Sure.
Because of the rules that are going on right now in the league, it's harder to be a corner than it is to be a wide receiver, and it's not close, right? But Crispy, I'd love to get your perspective on this. I mean, it's okay to, you can throw in, you can be a homer for a second. You can talk about your team and that Tua and Tyreek connection right now looks pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, I've been a Dolphins fan for a long time, so I got to tread these waters very lightly. I'm not used to my teams being successful and good and things like that.
Well, it is early, so let's not get ahead of ourselves.
What's that?
I said it's early, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yeah, I got you.
Yeah, so Tua 28 of 45, 466 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, which that was a tough one. 110 quarterback rating. So for all of those were the numbers that Tua threw up. As I was watching this game, we had a big. We brought in Vic, defensive coordinator, paid premium money for him. He was in Denver for all those years. They talked about how he was able to keep Herbert at wraps, if you will. If I'm going to criticize the team, I think the defense did let us down. We had pieces that didn't play a lot throughout the preseason. Wilkins didn't play much at all, so that was really his first showing. We got our best corner that we went out and got. He's injured right now, so we didn't get to have him out there, which I think would have helped with, Keenan Allen getting loose. I think X has lost a little bit of a step, so I think he had a hard time. He had 2 pass interference calls on him. So through that, from the defensive side, I'd really like to see us show a little bit better this week against the New England Patriots. But the offensive side, I will speak up to that. This is my first time really getting to see Tyreek, Tua, Waddle, all of those guys live on TV. Most of the year last year, I had to watch rebroadcasts or highlights. And so I'm sitting here watching this, and Tyreek is uncover. You cannot cover him one-on-one. It's not a thing. So you're going to have a safety over top. And then if you play soft with that underneath, Tua will drop it on a dime every time. So I'm excited for the season. I think as long as Tua stays healthy, we have a really good opportunity here.
Well, and I want to touch on that part where you were discussing the type of defense that you would play against a guy like Tyreek. And, you talk about not being able to cover him one-on-one. You need safety help over the top. But as you mentioned, if you play soft and he catches the ball underneath, let's say it's only, 4, 5, 6 yards past the line of scrimmage, that's the other problem is his getting into the open field. And we've seen him torch defenses. Like, even if he's got defensive players ahead of him, if he gets the right angle, you're not touching this guy.
Yeah, but you leave a safety deep no matter what. Like, you have to have a high safety somehow, some way.
True, but you're still, and again, this goes back to the rules that they're
you got to have some good corners, too.
Yeah, you do. And you're constantly back.
You got to pick your poison.
Right.
Well,
Waddle didn't even do much that game because it was all Tyreek.
That's fine, and I made Waddle beat.
You start doubling Tyreek, now you got Waddle you got to deal with.
That's fine, but I'm not getting beat 60 yards deep every single time.
Yeah, and I mean, I would agree with Al on that. I mean, it's a case of like you do have to pick your poison, but if I'm picking one, I'm certainly, if I got a triple team Tyreek, then do what I got to do and leave some other guys open and hopefully. But Waddle's no slouch from the standpoint of speed.
Right,
he's certainly not slow.
Right, but I guess he's a bigger receiver than Tyreek. Tyreek's a little guy, who runs very fast.
Right, just
obviously.
ridiculous.
And very strong.
Correct. But if you catch him at the line, if he doesn't get a good release, you can impede some of that speed, right? And then if you, of course, have a safety over the top, then that's the route you should not even over the top, just playing deep thirds. Yeah. Like he has to stay back there.
Yeah.
And then you just let them do whatever they got to do because the running game wasn't there. To me.
This week, I think, is going to be a great test. We got the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick notoriously takes away your best player and says you're going to have to beat us with somebody else.
Correct.
So if he's going to make the recipe for the NFL, he's going to do it this week. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it is a pick your poison situation. Tyreek is a guy that I definitely want to take out of the equation. But, you still got to play smart, and you can't leave Waddle completely open because he's also a guy that's got plenty of speed. He's not Tyreek Hill fast, but he's faster than a lot of other guys in the league still, even despite his size. So it was a hell of an offensive show. It was a lot of fun to watch. I mean, you look at it from the Chargers' perspective as well. I mean, they never fail to disappoint if you enjoy watching good offensive football, because Justin Herbert's just going to sit back there and he's going to sling it to some of the better wide receivers in the league. And you talk about the chemistry as well, because, you know, guys like Keenan Allen have had chemistry with multiple quarterbacks. I mean, Keenan Allen's been around for a while, right? I mean, he was playing with Phillip Rivers. So you've watched him be able to, and you know, he had some.
No, I don't want Phillip Rivers. Okay,
I just thought of another one too. What about Andrew Luck?
No,
bring him out of retirement.
Andrew, Crispy, your options are getting a little bit more out of control.
I'm trying to help him out here.
Phillip Rivers has 72 kids. All right, let him stay where he's at.
He's got a lot of kids.
A lot of kids.
Hey, do you think this Chargers offense is going to be, because Herbert didn't throw it as much as they typically would with Kellen Moore there? He's more of wanting to establish that run game more. Do you think that had anything to do with their offense?
No, I think
from a standpoint,
sucked too.
Well, I mean the offense was good, so I'm not understanding your question.
Well, if they let Herbert do more, would they have scored more on the shitty defense that we had instead of just trying to stay to the ground, the kind of thing?
I don't. I mean, maybe, but I mean, that's possible. But it's hard to argue the idea of not going to the ground and establishing that run game when you have, when you have Eckler. I mean, the guy is unbelievable. I mean, he goes unnoticed a lot because they play on the West Coast, and that's just reality. But when you speak on it just from the standpoint of fantasy football, and you look at the points totals that he puts up, he was the highest fantasy football point getter in the season last year, despite what Jacobs did for the Raiders. But Eckler was still the go-to guy. I mean, he gets so many touches every game. He makes things happen. He is probably the best receiver out of the backfield, best receiving back in football. Would that be a fair assessment?
Currently, probably, yeah.
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 I like Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's got some good hands.
He really does. He really does. And I think that is going to be key.
Come back, Aaron.
You're reaching.
I miss you.
Yeah, I as well as every other Jets fan.
I got an Achilles.
McCaffrey's got to be in that conversation as well.
That is true.
No doubt.
You're right.
Yeah.
No
McCaffrey. Yeah.
I just.
Ooh, look at San Francisco.
Yeah, I do like that a lot. I mean, I think if you pick one or the other, I don't think anybody's arguing with you. I mean, it's like 1 and 1A. If I say Eckler, you say McCaffrey, everybody's like, well, all right, yeah, that's cool. I mean, you're both right. But maybe Eckler, I don't know. McCaffrey did catch the ball some. I feel like McCaffrey the last couple years of his career has caught the ball more than he did early on with the Panthers. Eckler seems to be a guy that's just been doing it since the beginning. Like, I just feel like that's just something he's done the entire time. But you're not wrong. I mean, McCaffrey is a stud, no question.
You want to talk about how they routed the Steelers? I told you they were terrible.
Man, and you know what's interesting about that game too?
That the Steelers suck?
Well, despite that fact, going into the game, and we don't have a lot of love for the Steelers
Not at all.
For this season.
None.
But going into that game, there were, like, if you went to all the pundits and that, like if you go to certain websites and they'll say, who's going to win between this team and this team? Mm-hmm. Who's going to win between this team and this team? And you go throughout the entire week. It was a 50-50 split.
I don't know why.
Between San Francisco and Pittsburgh. And I was a little shocked by that. And the reason being is I like a lot of what Pittsburgh brings to the table. I like several pieces of their defense. I like several pieces of their offense. But the quarterback position is still such an unproven commodity that I was like, I don't know how you have Pittsburgh. Like, what about Pittsburgh going into a game against San Francisco brought you to the point where you thought they had a shot at winning the game?
I'm going to tell you this right here. Doo-doo.
Doo-doo?
Yeah. Kenny Pickett is trash.
Hey, is it that whole West Coast to the East Coast travel thing? Wasn't that a thing at one point?
It
I
used to
remember
be.
that used to be
traveling.
a thing.
It used to be.
Yep.
So
but
maybe they're doing that. Plus Pittsburgh's at home, so you usually try to give them a 3 point. So I don't know. Maybe that's
They
why.
had all these interviews and behind the scenes with Kenny Pickett talking about him and Brock Purdy being in the same draft and they worked out together and he's Mr. Irrelevant. He was drafted first round. Doo-doo.
So you don't think there's any hope?
Kenny Pickett is not good.
Okay.
I think Zach Wilson might be better than him.
Well, the fact that you're saying might be is maybe cause for concern for your team for the rest of the season.
I know for sure my team is better than the Steelers.
Okay, that's fair.
All they got is T.J. Watt.
That's not all they have.
I do like Micah Fitzpatrick, though.
Mika, yeah.
That's it. Them two.
Roll Tide.
You don't like it. Why would you say that?
Well, he's from Alabama.
Well, I realize that, but unless you cheer for Alabama,
Right.
you don't say stuff like that.
I say go Dogs.
Let's not talk about
You don't
Bama.
you don't
Let's
tell me
talk
not
about
to.
Bama either.
Well, that's true, but that's my team.
That was a good game.
Hey, I'm just being honest, man. That's fine.
I did watch that.
Who's the running back in Pittsburgh? Najee Harris?
Yeah.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Okay, here we go.
You set
Don't
it
start
up.
this shit.
You set
All
it
right,
up.
don't start this. Don't start.
What?
I like Najee Harris, man.
I know you set the. He just did Roll Tide.
No, I know. But I mean, you said that those
Set
other
me
two
up.
guys were the only ones that you liked, and I
Roll
was like,
Tide.
well, you're forgetting Najee Harris.
Roll Tide.
Mm-hmm.
They got rolled.
Took them horns.
Oh wow.
They didn't use Najee. He only had 6
Yeah.
carries.
You know what?
31 yards.
That was another common thread for them. Now, obviously, if you get behind again, running back,
Because
the running
they're
game goes
doo-doo.
away. But I noticed a lot last year. It was the same thing. They did not
They don't
use
use him
Najee
to-
Harris.
to
They
his
bring
full
this guy in.
ability.
He's a monster, by the way. This is a very large specimen, and this guy did not get used the way I typically expect the Pittsburgh Steelers to use a running back of his size and strength. I mean, I'm like, why aren't you just handing him the ball every single down? Like,
No, because then George Pickens is gonna pout on the sideline like he did. Did you not see that?
Did what's his name get hurt?
was Pickens
Demonte
pouting on the sideline in the San
Johnson?
Francisco game?
He was.
Why?
Go do your Googles and your research. You'll see it.
Well, I can't
He
do
ain't
that
get
right
no
now,
ball,
so I'm asking you
Kenny
the
Pickett
question.
ain't throwing the ball. That's why.
Okay, all right, that's fine. See, that's all you had to say.
You know, diva receivers. Come on now.
He hasn't been in the league long enough to be a diva receiver.
Hey.
Go Dogs.
Well, he is a dog. He is. He likes to fight. He's not as good
Uh-oh.
as. Yeah, he's not that good. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, well, their offensive line, another team with offensive line issues.
Let me say it again.
What? Kenny
Doo-doo.
Pickett's doo-doo?
Doo-doo.
Okay. All right. So, last but not least, obviously we've talked a lot about what's going on in the NFL this first week of the season. A lot of hype going in surrounding a lot of teams. Obviously the Jets, a huge storyline, and again will continue to be for weeks to come. But a lot of hype around a lot of other teams. And I'll pick a few teams right off the top of my head. Cincinnati.
I told you.
Absolutely got smoked in the first game against the Cleveland Browns.
Because Joe Burrow's not healthy, and they tried to force him back on the field.
I
Or
agree.
He forced himself on the field, whatever.
I don't think that this is going to be – I don't think what we saw from Cincinnati in that first week is what we're going to see the rest of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati, the next time they play Cleveland, they smack them around a little bit. I don't know that that's impossible because they have too many weapons, right?
I think we saw a sample of what Cleveland can actually do.
I don't
They
disagree
got
with
pieces.
that. I don't disagree with that, but I also because we saw that, it's kind of like what we were talking about with the Cowboys and Giants. I mean, are the Cowboys that good or the Giants that bad? We're like, well, the Giants can't be that bad. With the Browns, we're seeing a piece of what they're capable of, certainly, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to just say that the Bengals aren't capable of coming back. They started slowly last year. They did the exact same thing last year. Did they lose that badly in week 1 against Cleveland? No. Is their offensive line still a problem? Yes.
Well, Jamar Chase got to stop calling them elves.
Yeah, I really don't understand why he went. I mean, he went right after Cleveland.
And then
pregame.
doubled down on it after the loss.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
He didn't care.
Big time. No, he doesn't. And he's one of the best receivers in the league, so he doesn't have to worry about it. But you look at a lot of these other games throughout the season. What happened?
Go Tigers. He's a Tiger.
He's gonna hit everybody's alma mater.
Are you really doing this right now? Is that what we're going to do?
I'm just roll Tide.
Joe Burrow's a Tiger too, right?
That's right. T-Bates.
I'm already exhausted.
Hold
This
on.
is episode 1.
Hold on, wasn't T. Higgins?
What is this going to look like when we get to episode 1?
Tiger.
Wasn't T. Higgins a different kind of tiger though?
That's right. Same stadium name too. What's going on?
I don't understand that. Please don't get me started on this conversation. All right, let's rein it in for just a second because I thought that this was interesting because you look at a lot of the games that took place, and we'll single those particular ones out, and there's plenty of other games that took place that were underwhelming.
Deshaun Watson's a tiger too, by the way.
A lot of games that were super underwhelming to start the season, right? And you ask yourself why. You ask yourself, why is this happening? Why is it that the first week of the season, I'm looking at a lot of these games, there are exceptions, right? We saw this offensive juggernaut at SoFi. We saw what happened there. We've seen some good games. We've seen some good play. I think Kansas City will be fine, but they looked a little underwhelming. I don't even think Detroit played as well as they're capable of playing in that game either, despite the fact that they won. Why is it? Why is it that this week 1 of this season, unlike any other week 1 that I can remember in recent memory, was as underwhelming as it seemed to be for me? And remember, I touched on at the beginning of the show that there was an article written where somebody's headline said, "Week 1 of the NFL season does not disappoint." Personally, and I'll leave you guys to start the opinions, and then it can come back here. But personally, I think it did disappoint. I think it was quite disappointing.
Yeah, Monday night was disappointing.
Okay.
All
right. You won, though, by the way. But
walk off.
Yeah.
By the way,
that was pretty cool.
It's the fact that the preseason is shortened. They extended the season, so like the teams don't show up the first. I would say not even quarter anymore. It's the first 3-4 games. It's going to be this kind of feel you out, kind of like I'm a jab, see what's going on. And then we'll get rolling because the division games kind of happen a little bit more later in the season now. So let's get to where they have what you get the Thursday night game, and then you'll bounce into the shorter week, right? And then after that, you'll have your bye, and then you'll start rolling from there. So I think probably around like week 6, 7 is now normally when the NFL picks up.
Crispy, what are your thoughts on week 1 so far?
I was definitely underwhelmed. I thought it was really rough, even with most of the games that I was able to watch. I can't. I'm drawing a blank on where I heard this from, but there was an NFL coach, either current or past, that had kind of shared that September is the preseason now. That's where the teams are really getting their work in. The guys that sat out are actually starting to play. So I heard this somewhere. I'll see if I can find the bit for us, but they're saying that September is now the preseason. So slow starts, defenses aren't running all of their packages. So now week 1, they start implementing everything. Very vanilla in the preseason. Offenses aren't showing you everything that they have. So now we're really starting to implement the playbook to its fullest. Slow out the gates. Travel part, they haven't really been traveling that often. So now you got those teams traveling from the West Coast to the East to West kind of thing. There's that, getting back into the hotels. So I think a lot goes into these first couple of weeks that we don't see. All we see is what we get on TV Sunday afternoons. But yeah, there was some games. I mean, we had how many? 3 or 4 rookie quarterbacks starting. You did have some division games, Browns, Bengals. I saw Jags and Colts. So yeah, I was a little underwhelmed. I was sharing with my son when we were watching the game. It wasn't what we were hoping for. Thankfully, we did have at least one kind of really good game, which we talked about, Dolphins and Chargers. So, but I think it'll be a little bit better this next week coming up. I was taking a little quick preview of next week's, and I think we might have some interesting games coming up this next week. So hopefully they can come through for us next week.
Yeah, and we'll run through a couple of those really quickly before we sign off. But bringing it back here, I know I initiated this question, but I agree wholeheartedly with that. I thought it was an underwhelming first week, and it's maybe not for everyone, or maybe not everyone understands this, but I mean, we don't have a preseason anymore. I mean, nobody plays in the preseason. Nope. Like the starters there's 3 preseason games. There's 4 for one team, but there's 3 preseason games, or there's 4 for 2 teams. 3 preseason games overall across the league, and most starters are going to play one series, not even so much a half anymore, not even so much even a quarter, but you have teams whose starters play for a series, maybe 2, in one of those 3 preseason games, and that's it. So you're right, Crispy. You don't see the playbook obviously get opened up. So, but by the time they get to week 1, they haven't opened the playbook up. You know, they can do walkthroughs all they want to, but real-time speed against the, opposing defenses, like, you're not getting that, right? You're not getting that in preseason. And in college football, there's a reason why, with the exception of 1 or 2 games, all of the top teams in the league are playing against a bunch of Division II schools, right? Because their season is officially already started, but they haven't played any preseason games. They don't play against anybody else. That's their preseason. That's their time to get going. I've watched several college games over the last 2 weeks, and even the top-notch teams, I'm like, okay, you guys aren't looking all that great. You're still winning, mind you. You're not playing very good competition. You're still winning, but you don't look like the team that I would typically see as we get into week 7, 8, 9 of the college football season. And I get the same feeling week 1 of the NFL season, and because I'm watching some of these games and I'm just like, what? The scores even. I mean, here's an example. I realize, Crispy, you mentioned this about Bill Belichick earlier, and he's the type of guy defensively that's going to take away your number 1 weapon and make everybody else beat you. But who in their right mind would have thought that they would have only lost by 5 to Philly, right? I mean, and Philly looked pedestrian in that game as well. And, I realize the NFL is still king, but when I watch week 1 of the season and how underwhelming that was, I'm like, this is not a very good product right now.
Yeah, but then you get the most highest rated Monday night game of all time.
Right. But for
Built
obvious
off the
reasons.
hype of Aaron Rodgers, but it's also 9/11. It's opening season. It's opening week and everything in New York, right?
And I mean, thankfully we got that, even despite what took place, but we got the
still a really good game.
Right.
Right.
We got that despite the fact that Sunday, I don't know what kind of numbers they got on Sunday, and I'm sure that it was probably still pretty good because it is the first week and everybody wants to watch and everybody's excited. But I don't know that a lot of people could have walked away from week 1 going, man, that was impressive. That was a hell of an opening week of the NFL season. I never felt that way.
They just printing money over there.
You're right about that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's what the NFL does.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it started off well with the Lions KC. That was a good game.
Yeah, it's funny because it started off well and it ended well. Like from the standpoint of how the game went.
It didn't end well.
Well,
I love you, Aaron. Come on back.
Oh, my God. Are you going to do this every week? Is this going to happen every week?
I might. If I keep doing this,
Billy responds.
Then yes.
Oh, man.
I'll put the waterworks on.
So you're gonna have your superstition now as well.
That's my quarterback.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you, T.O.
Never
Chris,
gets old.
break down a couple of the. Just give me a couple of games that we could be looking forward to next week. You don't have to give me all of it. Just give me a couple games that we might want to be taking a look at. We might be talking about next week.
What about let's go Kansas City, Jacksonville in Jacksonville.
Okay, I like it.
Jacksonville.
What about
Jacksonville? Didn't
let's
look
go
great, by the
with Jets at Cowboys.
We won't get blinked by 40. I'll tell you that much.
This one's I'm interested in because I really want to know who's for real this week. Green Bay Packers at Atlanta Falcons.
I'm over there watching.
And then we have a divisional game. See if the Cincinnati Bengals bounce back. We have the Ravens going to Cincinnati.
Interesting.
That's always a good game.
Yeah, it is.
It depends on Joe Burrow's health, man.
Yeah.
If that calf is not ready, it's gonna be a long season.
I like this Kansas City Jacksonville. I'm for sure watching that one. I'm really I want to see if Kansas City bounces back, and I want to see if Jacksonville's really for real. I got a lot of stock in Jacksonville this year.
Is
so
Kelsey playing?
No answer yet.
No,
I haven't heard anything about that yet.
Yeah, no answer yet.
I mean, I think I read something a couple of days ago. They felt like he was going to be pretty good for it. Like they felt good about week 2.
I also read a report that he's dating Taylor Swift now, so I don't know if I'm gonna force that knee to go back that quick.
Travis
Kelsey?
Yep.
dating Taylor Swift.
Yep.
I thought Kelsey was married.
No, he was engaged.
Oh.
Yeah.
That just sounds really weird to me
Now
for some
him and
reason.
T Swift
That doesn't
is
make
out
any
there.
sense to me at all.
Hey,
It's weird.
when you're Travis Kelsey, you can do what you want.
And if you're Taylor Swift, you can do whatever you want to.
definitely can.
You definitely can.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, that sounds like some pretty good matchups next week. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. I think we'll get a better week 2 than we got a week 1. I like
Yeah, there's some real bad games too that somebody's got to win. Let's go Giants Cardinals.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's rough.
That's going to be a tough one there.
Who are the Commanders playing next week?
Doodoo versus Doodoo.
Who?
Commanders.
They play the Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos.
That's even worse.
Oh, gosh. That's not going to be very good.
Hey, Jesus.
There is a bad game that I am actually interested in. Colts Texans, getting to see Stroud and Richardson go up against each other, kind of just seeing which one of them might be kind of legit. But other than that, that's a tough game.
Can we pick neither are legit? Is that a possibility?
Is Richardson okay? Is he going to be playing?
Oh, that's right. He is questionable already.
Gardner Minshew, baby.
Oh, they for sure lose that game. He's in.
Who is? Gardner?
Yeah.
Y'all gotta stop hating.
They're going to lose. So you're going to tell me the Colts are going to lose to the Texans?
I'm high on Texans this year.
Dude, no. My God. You're high on something. That's for damn sure.
Hey, hey.
Good Lord.
Nah, that's a different show.
I don't know how many times we've said that's a different show, but I've got like 4 ideas now. So like we're gonna have something come to fruition at this point. So
I don't know if the interwebs are ready for us to be on that much.
I don't know. Well, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. We're gonna do this as much as humanly possible.
Hey,
coming
Aaron,
up, that's for sure.
I'll come do some ayahuasca with you while you're rehabbing.
That sounds dirty.
Hey.
Hey-o.
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
I love you, Aaron. Come on back.
God. All right.
Go Bears.
Wow. They are not winning the division, by the way. You both messed that up big time.
Hey, we will see.
Well,
Go ahead.
isn't Aaron from Cal?
Yes.
Are they the Bears?
I
Are they
see
the
what he
Bears?
did. I see what he did there.
That was pretty
Go
good.
Bears.
He did
It was pretty good.
Marshawn went there too, right?
Ooh, man.
See,
They were pretty good then.
I catch.
Yeah. Good catch.
Strong.
Yeah, gotcha.
He's fun. We need him more on TV. We
do.
don't have Marshawn on enough.
He needs to be on game day morning
Oh, they would have to get the beeper out a lot.
because Gerald McCoy was tragic.
Was he really?
Ooh.
I watched it.
Yeah, that
he
was rough.
Stumbled and he's like,
What was he on?
game day.
Game day.
NFL Network?
Mm-hmm.
I like him though. I liked him as a player.
He talked well, but he was stumbling.
He talked well behind sunglasses
Yeah.
on the sidelines.
Yeah.
But now that he's got the camera in his face, I don't know if he's feeling all that
It was
confident.
rough.
All right. I'll have to go check that out, even though it's probably miserable.
Yeah, it was.
I think a lot of them do start off pretty rough.
Some of them never make it.
We'll see.
Two of the greatest players of all time have been the absolute worst commentators.
Ooh.
Yeah. Who's your favorite?
Who's my favorite worst?
Yeah.
Jerry Rice.
Oh yeah, he was bad.
He was really bad.
He was bad.
Emmett was the
What
other
was
one.
he on? I missed that one.
Jerry was on ESPN
I
for a
think he
little
did
bit. wasn't
ESPN a little bit. Yeah.
And Emmett Smith.
Oh, gosh.
Emmett Smith was so bad too. Oh,
I hate
they
to
were so
say
bad.
this, but because Randy's my dude. Like I'm a huge Moss fan, but
Randy's
I did not
bad.
dig him on ESPN.
I didn't think he was that bad.
He's actually still there.
Is he really?
Yeah, I saw.
He
him.
wasn't one of the ones they let go.
No.
Okay.
No.
No, now we have Dan O on everything.
Oh my gosh. Running out.
He's
the
on
back.
everything.
Oh goodness.
He's doing college, NFL, first take, you name it for ESPN. He's on it. He is their guy right now.
I don't think Gronk is very good, but he's entertaining on Fox.
What about my man Pat?
Pat who?
Pat McAfee is killing the game.
Oh
right
man,
now,
I mean Pat's
That
the
dude's-
guy, dude. He's the man.
I watched that whole Texas Bama game because of Pat, and it was a good.
You watched
game.
the Pat
It was a good
feed?
game. Yes, I did watch the Pat feed. It was worth it.
Yeah,
He's entertaining.
he
I don't like
is
AJ Hawk.
I mean, he didn't talk much. He just
Yeah, I'm not a
stood
fan
there
of
when
him.
he-
either.
And he
whole
did
day.
though.
Yeah, it was
Wasn't a
tough.
fan.
McAfee's amazing, man. I'm a huge fan of that guy. He does an unbelievable job. I mean,
He's funny as hell.
he really is. He's got
a lot of energy. I love it.
Yeah, I do. I'm a huge fan of his. So
Yeah.
shout out, Pat. We love you.
Yeah, love you,
We
Dale.
love you. Hey, Pat, if you can get in touch with Aaron, you tell him to come to see me or text me. Aaron, I love you. Come on over.
Pat makes kickers cool.
He does. He's the only guy that's made a kicker cool, but that's good.
That is true.
That's good.
Hey, what about Del Rio from back? Is it Del Rio, the kicker? Jack Del Rio? Wasn't he a real good golfer?
What? Jack Del Rio was the head coach for the
coach,
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right. You know what?
I thought there was a Del Rio that was a kicker. That was a really good golfer.
We just gonna wrap this.
Yeah, maybe it's if we're
That's a
getting
good way
into
to
a
end the
conversation
show.
about kickers, it's probably time for us to call it a day.
Right?
Hold on, I'm gonna find it out.
Here we go. You gonna find it out?
I gotta go cry on my pillow.
Are you gonna find it out right now, or are you gonna find this out later?
Tune in
You
next
do-
week,
do
guys.
what you gotta
to
do.
See about the new kicker. I'm out of here. Aaron, I love you, baby. I'll text you.
All right. I don't think we're getting this information.
Nope.
Al Del Greco.
Al Del Greco. You said Jack
Yeah, I was
Del
really
Rio?
close.
Yeah, you were super close.
Greco-Roman
Was it
wrestling.
Greco-
What is
didn't he-
up? What's going?
Did he
what's
kick for
going?
Arizona or something like that? I swear he was in there. He kicked for Arizona.
Houston, all of theirs. So Houston and Tennessee, St. Louis Cardinals, the Green Bay
I
Packers,
thought I remember him
and the
in
Miami
Cardinals.
Dolphins for 1 year.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is that where he ended his career?
No, he ended with Houston,
All right.
2000. Actually,
Makes
maybe
more
we
sense.
drafted him or we signed him as a
I-
free agent. It was
Why
his
are we
first
talking
year.
about a kicker?
I don't
80
know why we're talking about Al Del Greco at the end of the day. I'm really not sure. All right.
because I got the names mixed up. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
you certainly did.
Won't
That
be
was
the first. Won't be the first either.
Won't be. You mean won't be the
Or
last?
the last.
Yeah, no.
These
It was the
amateurs.
first of the podcast.
It was the
won't-
first.
It won't be the last for sure. So there you go. Episode 1 in the books. Balls out. The fellas are here. Allah's here.
No.
Crispy, of course, joining us from Greenville, South Carolina, in the upstate. We appreciate you, brother. We've got Coco's here. We got Zach here. We don't have Christian with us this week, but he will be back next week. So we're looking forward to seeing him. We hope he's enjoying himself. And we've got Cal, who's got a sleeping bag and is asleep on the floor. I really need somebody to take a picture of that because that's definitely going up on the socials.
This guy.
Like, this is no joke. Like, this is absolutely happening right now. I have a phone. Somebody needs to just do this quickly before he gets up. This has got to happen. This has absolutely got to happen. This is what we resorted to. We've got a guy on the floor.
Malarkey.
We
I
got
got
a
a
guy.
photo of him sleeping during this last week too.
Yeah, there we go.
That is terrible.
That's absolutely
That's the
phenomenal.
cow cam.
It's Cal Cam. We got Crispy Cam right here. We got Cal Cam over there.
You know, like and subscribe. Wherever the buttons.
Absolutely. Yes. And thank you for reminding me of that. So we got socials, Balls Out Sports, pretty much everywhere, right? Can you give us a quick rundown of exactly where we are? Do we have it all? Are we everywhere?
We've got
it's in the phone.
Instagram,
Yep.
TikTok, YouTube, and formerly known as Twitter. I am not going to be calling it X. That is
Twitter.
stupid.
Twitter.
Yeah. All right. So we're pretty much everywhere. Go check us out at Balls Out Sports. That's balls with a Z.
Z.
With a Z. Balls.
Funny fact, right? I
Okay.
know we're wrapping this.
Yes,
but
we're trying to.
Pac-Man Jones follows me on Twitter.
Pac-Man Jones follows you on Twitter.
He does.
Okay.
Go check it.
All right. I will check it.
Yep.
He needs to follow. He needs to follow Balls Out Sports. Is what he needs to do.
Hey, Pac-Man, call Aaron. Have Aaron call
Oh
me.
my God! Everything
Give
is
me
going
the
to go
DM.
back to Aaron, isn't it?
I'll help you
Every
out.
single thing is going to go
Aaron,
back to Aaron.
You're my quarterback. I miss you.
We know you miss him. Check us out too. Like and subscribe on YouTube. You'll see all the links to all of our socials there as well. So yeah, we appreciate you. This is episode 1. It's in the books. Plenty more to come. Want to thank the Golf House for having us here and jerkswag.com as well. Check them out. So yeah, we're here. It's episode 1.
You didn't do any reads.
We're not done. I know.
No reads?
No reads today.
Okay. Well, you're not paying us, so
Well, see, now you figured it out. You didn't have to say it out loud, but now you're figuring it out.
sorry.
All right, for all the fellas, I am Jonas. We'll see you next time right here on Balls Out.
Suck it, jabroni.